A huge theme for Paul throughout all of his letters is learning your spiritual gift, because your spiritual gift corresponds to the role that God has given you to play in ministry. Some of you are given the desire and the responsibility, like Paul, to take Christ to places where people have never heard about him. God still calls people like that. Right now, this morning at the Summit Church, there are 260 plus of our members who are not here this morning. They're somewhere overseas on one of our church planting teams, many of them in places like Paul is talking about where Christ is yet to be named. And some of you, even like I said, watching that video, something in you stirs and you're like, I want to be a part of making that happen. And you need to understand, in a congregation of what, 11, 12,000 this weekend? I'd say there's probably another 250, 260 that God is doing that in right now. And you got to respond to that. For some of you, his purpose is for you to win people to Christ here. He's put you in a profession. He's given you a vision for how you can use that to bring Christ to people. Some of you are called to build up the church. Some of you have been given abilities to serve the needs of members, meeting the needs of people inside the church, as well as let it spill out into the community where you meet the needs of the oppressed and the broken, and you're the hands and the feet of Jesus to the abused. Some of you have been given the gift of generosity. Some of you have been given the gift of encouragement. Some of you have the gift of faith, the gift of prayer, where God just moves in you and you know how to get a hold of God, and he puts burdens into you. Some of you, God is going to give you supernatural gifts of insight and warning that you're supposed to give to others. We saw this when we studied chapter 12, but having a spiritual gift doesn't release you from all the other responsibilities that God gives to us. A spiritual gift is simply a specialization in a duty that is given, an assignment given to all believers. But that spiritual gift is a special way that God wants to use you. And figuring out what your spiritual gift is essential. Because apart from that, you will never experience the kind of spirit power and movement that the early church experienced.